So you understand. So we're done with the theoretical part. Now we're going to do the practical aspect. So previously we discussed about variable, right? We said variable is something that what store and change later. So now we're going to discuss about data structure, or I say collection slash data structure. When I say collection, just look at it like we have a space, and you can, the moment you have data, you can just pour them into this space. Maybe it's a basket, whatever it is, you just pour them in. So whenever you want to look at something, you remember, okay, I put them in this basket, then you come and look for it and start looking around inside the basket. So that's what we call collection. And data structure is like when you pour the data into this basket, so they are not organized. So in that case, you have to organize your data so that in case when you want to look for something, it will not going to take a lot of your time. You can just come and look at it in a very short amount of time. So this is what you're going to learn today. Previously, in our previous class yesterday, we discussed about variable and said variable. For example, when I say name, this is the memory space, the name of the memory space, and I say is equals to mail. So as you can see here, I can only store one single data. This is the only single data in a variable. So what if I have like your name, my name, and other people's name, a lot of names, and I want to store them in single memory space? Because if I say I'm going to create another variable, it's going to be very hard for me to work with. So in that case, that's why collection comes. We have two different types of collection in Python programming. We have number one, we have list, we have tuple, we have set, and last but not the least, we have dictionary. So all of those things, they have their own way of collecting data and structuring the data. So we're all going to learn how they accept data and structure it. How they accept data and structure it. All of them, each one of them, but not in this video. But in today we're going to discuss about the list, how list accept data, or I say how list collect data, and how did he structure it. Yes, we only have two types of them. So now we're going to create a single variable where it's going to collect a lot of data. So in that case, yes. So let me start with number one, which is list. List is one of the types of Python collections. Like I told you, look at collection like a basket, where you can just take your book, put it inside the basket, your smartphone, your clothes, just you keep putting a lot of stuff inside the basket. That's what we call collection. Data structure is the act of, okay, now you put your smartphone, your books, your whatever it is you put, and now you want to structure them. Okay, you organize, you fold your cloth, you put them in this side, your book, you put them in that side, and so on and so forth. So that's data structure. So list, the way list collect data and structure them is completely different from the other types of collection in Python. So this is how we're going to create a list. For you to create a list, first thing you have to do is give it a name. For example, let's say a list of names of people. So that's names, and I say it's equal to, yes, that's the variable, the memory space. Then you put square bracket. So when you put this square bracket, now Python understand, oh, you want to create a list. I understand. So the moment you put a square bracket, Python programming understand you are about to create a list. Then let me start by putting a name. Then Ahmad. So this one I can use single quotation. Yes, not only single quotation, you can use single, you can use double. It depends on your choice. Okay. But sometimes I prefer to use single or double. Then Peter, then Z. So now each one of those is called an object. Each one of these items. So this one is just like a basket. This is our basket, and this is what I put inside the basket. So my question here is, this is the collection. So how does this data structure? How does list structure the data? So first of all, list is a mutable. Mutable in the sense of whatever I put, I can change. For example, when you put your clothes in a basket, you can go and remove them and put another one. So that's what mutable means. You can change what you put. And also list is ordered. When I say ordered is the way you arrange your item. This is exactly how you're going to see them. I put Ali first and Z at the last. So this is exactly how they structure even inside the memory. You understand? So it's an ordered. Based on how you structure them, this is how you're going to see your stuff. So this is what list is all about. We will come to that. So now we understand how lists collect data. These are the data we put inside the list. So the question is, since we say list is a basket, is a collection of data. So now we put the data upon the creation. The moment I create the list called names, then now I put the data. So my question here is, how can I put data without me writing it here? For example, when I come and remove this basket, put comma, write another object. Like programmatically, just take something and put it inside the basket. How can I do that? That's what we call adding. What I mean, like adding up element, or I said object. Then after I add element, how am I going to remove it from the basket? That's what we call removing. I will come to that. I will show you all how we're going to do that. Then how can I take a specific element to look at? Maybe I want to just take Ahmad and look at it. That's what we call reading, or I say yes, reading. Like taking only single object from the list of objects we have. So let's start with the first one. How are we going to add item inside? So to add items, we have the first one we're going to do, we call the list name. Then we say dot append. This dot append means we are going to add something to our collection. This is the name of our collection names. Then we're going to add another name. Then maybe I will say something like this. So when I say names.append Musa, the name is going to be added inside the memory. We cannot see it physically, but programmatically, when you run the code, it's going to be added. So when we go to practical and print names, after we add them, we're going to see Musa again. Now, what's the meaning of append? Yes, this append means add it at the end. Okay, it's another name of add it. Yes, no, it's not another name, it's a method. First thing what you have to do is call the name of your collection. This is names. Yes, the variable name. Then you say dot append, like you are commanding the collection, the basket, to take this element that you are putting. But when you accept the element, it's going to put it at the end. The reason why it's putting at the end, because it's very simple and easy. So it puts it very quickly at the end. Then for the removing, and also the adding element is not only append, we can also use something like insert. I can say names dot insert. This insert will give me the power to choose a position. All these elements have a position. They have a position. The first one has a position of 0. This one has a position of 1, 2, 3. And this position we call them index. And when we come to reading element, we use those index to access one of these objects, or I say elements specifically. Maybe I want to see Peter, then I will command my collection to look at me what is the element that's in position 2. Then I will see it. So now this insert will allow us to put element in a specific position we want. So I can say insert, then I'll give it the element. Maybe I say Kylie. Then I will put the position. Let's say I want it to be in Ahmad position, then I put 1. So we're going to see Kali in position 1, then Ahmad will move on to another position. Do you understand? Yes. So we can use append to add it at the end. We can use insert to choose a specific position. And now we can also remove our element. We can just say names dot remove. When I say name dot remove, I want to remove my element. So maybe I want to remove Ahmad. So what I just have to do, I just have to put the name of the element I want to remove. Then I will put what? Ahmad. So I don't have to put the position. The moment I put the element, this remove will now look at, do we have element called Ahmad inside? Yes, we do. Then it will remove it from the list. If we have two Ahmad, then it will remove the first one. And also the other way we can remove elements, we can use pop, something like names.pop. When I use this pop, without specifying any element, it will remove the last one. Whenever the element comes the last, this pop will remove it. But if I want to remove element in specific position, maybe the first one or the third one or the second one, I can put it. For example, when I say name.pop index 0, so it's like I'm telling to remove the first element. Yes. If you don't put the index, it will automatically remove the last one. You put the index, then it will remove the one you put the index. What if I want to remove 2? Am I going to put 0, 2? If you want to remove two of them, yeah, Ali and Peter. Ali and Peter. Yes, you have to choose any one of them specifically and remove them. Okay. Am I going to add it here? No. 1, 2. Okay, you want to remove two of them at the same time. No, you just have to remove one, then you come down and write another program to remove the second one. So this is now let's look at indexing, which is how we're going to read element. Okay. You will make mention of the head method. Yes. We know that head method adds element like index. Yes. Apart from its add function, is there any function that we can add an element directly at the beginning of the list? At the beginning of the list? Without using its add. Okay, no. There is no. So now moving on, we have this which is called indexing. Now we're going to discuss about indexing and slicing. So now inside our basket, we want to access a specific element, Ali, Ahmad, or Peter, or Z. So to do that, first thing we have to call the name of the list, that collection. Yes, we call the name of the collection, names. Then in front of it, we put a square bracket. After no dot, put a square bracket. So the moment you see this square bracket, now okay, we are about to access specific element. When I put 0 names square bracket 0, it means what? I'm referring to Ali. When I put 1, I'm referring to who? Exactly. When I put 2, I'm referring to Peter. So this is how we access a specific element. Very simple. So what if I want to access from Ahmad to Peter, or maybe from Peter to Z, or from Ahmad to Z? Like I want to take some section of that collection and pull them out and see. So how can we do that? That's what we call slicing. So to do that is also a very simple way. You can just say names, then we put a square bracket, then we're going to start from Ahmad. Now I want to take from Ahmad to Z. I want to bring them out without Ali. So I'm going to say, okay, let's start from the index 1. This is the position of the Ahmad, right? Yes. So we're going to start from index 1. Okay. That means we're going to start from taking our element from here. Then we're going to show it all the way to here. So since we're going to show it in index 3, so the last in the index where we're going to start with index 3, then we put 3. But after you put it, you have to add 1. Every time you have to put what? 1. This is where I'm going to stop. I'm going to show Ahmad, Peter, and Z. So the Z has what? Index 3. So when I put it as index, then I have to add 1. That's the rule. Okay, if you now show me the fourth one. What? If I add 1, it will not show me the fourth one. Yes, if you do not add 1, you put 3, then it will show you only Peter. If you add 1, it becomes 4, then it will show the Z. So now after we add 1 to 3, it's going to be what? It's going to be 4. So now we're going to see something like this. Ahmad, Peter, and Z. And this one I'm only going to see Ali.
If you print this one, it will only show us Ali.
Yes.
You just visit only Ali.
Yes. So now I can also make this to be jumped. Like,
can we use this to change ID or add something?
Yes, we can use it to update it. For example, like I say, if you want to remove your cloth and change it to another one, it's just like you are updating it. It's, they are both in the same position inside the basket. So when you remove it, then you put something in the same position. So you are like updating it. So we can update, yes. When I want to update, I will call the collection, then access a specific element. Let's see Ahmad, say index 1. Then I say it's equal to now Muhammad. So by doing this, I'm accessing a specific element, which is this Ahmad. Then I say it's equal to Muhammad. So now it's going to be updated. Ahmad will be removed and then Muhammad will be replaced there. Yes. So, and this is the formula of slicing. We have what? Start and then stop. Start, this is the first one, which is the start of the index. Then we have the stop, which is the index where we want it to be stopped. And then we have a step. Maybe we want it to be jumping. So now if I want to take all these elements, but I want to start from Ali to Z, but I want to, when I take Ali, then Peter, then do you understand, to be jumping one of them. So I can do something like this. I'll call my collection names, then I set start from index 0, stop from for the last index, which is 4, and then I will tell him to be jumping 1 and put colon and put 1. So it's going to
starting point, ending, and then this is the jumping.
Yes, the jumping amount. Then it will take Ali, then jump Ahmad, take Peter, then jump Z, and then since we don't have anyone, then we're only going to see 2 of them, Ali and Peter. So this is all about the list. There is other method we can use from the list. For example, when I ask you to count how many Ali do we have in this list, or maybe I want to know how many elements do we have inside my collection, or maybe do we want to, anything you can think of. Maybe you want to know, okay, do we have a element that is not a string inside my function and inside my list? How can I do that? So there is a lot of method that we can all do that using list. So but these are the most important one: adding, removing, reading, updating, which is this one that you just asked me. Yes, I think if you don't have any question, that's the end of this list. Then tomorrow we're going to start looking at tuple. Okay, so you understand? That's that. Like I said previously, if we create a variable, for example, this is, I'm going to create a variable where I'm going to store a name of a person. So we can only store a single data. This is the data. So when we create a variable, we can only store a single value, a single data. So now our question is, what if I have a single variable, for example, called names, then I can store like multiple amount of names. I can store like 100, even more than 100 of names. So how can we do that in Python programming? So this concept, having a single variable and multiple amount of value inside it, or I say multiple amount of data inside it, that's what we call collection. That's what we call collection. You just look at collection like a basket. You have a data like name of a person, GPA, and whatsoever. You have thousands of them. Then you put them, you just pour them into the basket. And when you pour them into the basket, that's the collection, the basket. But the problem here is you put all these names inside the basket, but they are not structured. They are not organized properly. So in that case, you also have to learn what we call data structure. Because when you put those data, you need to structure them. Because if you do not structure them, you're going to give a computer a hard time finding those data. Assuming you have a scattered room, your book everywhere, bags everywhere, then I ask you to go and look for a chemistry textbook. So the book is everywhere. You look for that side, you do not see it, you go for this side, you keep looking everywhere, looking for a single value, which is the chemistry textbook. So what if you organize all this data, you structure them, you have a proper organization. So the moment I ask you to look for something, it's going to be very easy for you because you already know where it is. So in that case, that's what we're going to learn. We have the collection, like a basket where we're going to pour our elements, thousands of names, hundreds of names. Then we have a data structure where we're going to structure those data. So we have different types of collection in Python. So we have different types of collection in Python. Number one, we have lists. Number two, we have tuple. And number three, we have sets. Number four, we have dictionary. So all of those collections, look at them like a basket. This kind of basket is a list. This kind of basket is a tuple. This kind of basket is a set. This kind of basket is a dictionary. So all of those baskets, they have their own way of storing elements. They have their own way of structuring elements when you put element inside it. Assuming I have like a two basket, one is called list, the other one is called tuple. So when I put element inside the list basket, the way it's going to be organized and stored is completely different the way I'm going to put my data inside another basket called tuple. Do you understand? So now we're going to learn about, in this lesson we're going to learn about list. After we're done with the list, then our next class we're going to learn about tuple, set, and dictionary. So now we're going to learn about how are we going to create that basket in a memory where we're going to store so much amount of data inside it. After we learn how to create it, then we're also going to learn how are we going to put elements inside it, like adding stuff inside that basket. Then how are we going to remove what we put inside the basket, and also how are we going to update what we put inside the basket. Then how are we going to look for a specific element inside that basket. So this is what are we going to learn. We're going to learn how to create the basket called list, how to put element inside the basket, how are we removing it, how can we update the element that already exists in the basket, and also how can we read specific element or section of the element. So let's start with the first one, which is how to create the list. So first of all, let's say I'm going to create a list where that contain a names of people, maybe people I know or random people. So I will call that memory space names. So a single memory space, this is my basket. So then it's equal to, then since is a list basket, like I said, it's going to be a list, then I have to use a square bracket. So this square bracket is telling the Python program this is a basket, but what kind of basket is this? List basket. Very good. So whatever I put inside, list has its own way of structuring element and also storing element. So this is how list structure element. List sets is going to structure element based on how you put them, like ordered. You set this is an order, which is if you put one at the beginning, two in the second, then this is exactly how they're going to store inside the basket. If you put two first, one second, this is exactly how they're going to store inside what? The basket of the list. That's the reason why it's called ordered. And also we said it's mutable. Mutable means we can change, we can just change, we can also remove, we can also add after we create the list. So these are the two things you have to know about list. It's going to store your element based on how you store them, and also it can be changeable, which is mutable. So now I'm going to put the first name. Let's see, we have Peter, then we have Tim, we have Amir. This is all the names of people. It's just like I'm putting the name of the people inside the basket. No, it's not you must put space, but you must put this comma. This comma is telling the basket that okay, this is specific element, then it's separated from this specific element, separated from this specific element. Yes, we must put comma in between every and each element. Yes. So now we now create a list. This is how we create a list, and we created it, and also I put some post initial element inside it. So after I put initial element, I can also add, for example, I can say names, then I said dot append. Before we append, let's print the list and see. Say print names. So now we're going to see all the values stored inside the list. So running our program. So you see, this is the list. This is our basket. This is exactly how they store inside a memory in a very ordered way. The way we store it, this is how we're going to see them. This is how it's been formatted to show us. No. So now we can also add elements. So I can call my collection, which is my basket. I will call it. When I call it, then I will say my basket append. Like I'm commanding the basket to accept another element, which is the append means take another element. Then I will put something like okay, let's use that Fatima. So now we command our basket to collect another name, which is Fatima. Then now we print the basket. So what are we expecting to see after this KB? We're going to see what? Fatima. So if we run it, you see now our basket accepted. We have additional element, because this is how we add element. And we have another way of adding element, which is maybe I want to store the name at the beginning, or maybe at a specific position I want. So we can use something what we call insert. We say names dot insert. Then when you say name dot insert, then you choose the position. So let me say the position of this Peter is 0, the position of team 1, 2, 3. So now we have another one, which is Fatima. The position is what? 4. So let's say I want to put the element, the new name from within this team position. The team has a position of what? 1. So I want to insert it here. Then I will put it inside position 1, comma. Then I will put the value I want to put inside there. What can I use? Let me use command. Then I will say. So inside, what we are saying here is my basket. Inside this value in this position. Inside this value in this position. That's what we are asking our basket to do, which is the collection. When we run it, now we're going to see we have Kamal at the second, then Tim at the third. So we can choose a specific position. We can either choose the first position, any position we want. So this is the two way we can add elements. Choosing append, it automatically add to the end. Insert, it will choose a specific position. Yes, that's my mistake, because that's in the theory part. So in the practical part is completely yes. If I made a mistake, I'm going to see an error. Yes.
In the names, you are putting square brackets. So why is it that here we put square brackets, but the other place you put the brackets, the parentheses?
Okay, I put parentheses
Yeah.
because it's a method.
Okay.
So every method or every command we have to execute within a list, at the end it must come with parentheses. But this square bracket is a sign telling the Python program is a list. Do you understand? Are we good?
Yes.
Okay. So now moving on, let's learn how can we remove all these elements. So remember, look at the list as a basket. So now we're going to start removing elements inside the basket. So I will call my collection names, then I say dot remove, which is the first thing we learn. Then I put the name of the value. So let's say I want to remove Peter, then I will set remove Peter. If we run it, we see Peter is at the beginning, right? So we are no longer going to see Peter again. You see, in our list we don't have Peter anymore. Do you see it? Then we have another one which is called names dot, we call it for. and this pop is going to be automatically remove the last element. We have Fatima as the last element, right? So we will call names.pop is going to take out the last element. So now we're not going to see Fatima. Did you see? Fatima has gone. But this pop has another way, which is we can put a specific index. Means, let's say I want to remove Amir. So let's say the Amir has index of what? 0, 1, 2. So I can put dot pop index 2. So it's going to remove Amir. Now we're going to see Fatima, but we are not going to see Amir. You see? Do you understand? So by default, if you call pop without putting index in it, it's going to remove the last element. If we put index inside it, then it's going to look for that specific value in the index and remove it.
Instead of, since you use pop for remove, so you can use pop for remove too. And that end, which is like adding, can we use push too?
Push?
Can we use name dot push? We get push and then
No, no, you can't. And also we have another way, which is there, which is called delete. Then when we say delete, in that case I have to look for a specific element. So if I say delete, then I call the whole collection. It's like I'm trying to delete the whole basket. So if you run it now, the whole basket is gone. So when we say print the basket, then it's telling us name is not defined, because before we print it, we already what? We already deleted. Yes, you can also use clear. Do you understand the delete? So we want to continue working with our basket, so we have to remove the delete. And also the other way we can use clear. Dot clear is different from delete. Delete is completely removing the basket, yes, the variable from the memory, but clear is going to left the memory space, but is going to remove all the elements inside it. We're just going to end up with an empty list. So if you look at, you see we have what? Empty list. Good. So let me also remove it. So now we come to the part where we can update value and read value. So how can we update value? Very simple. Updating. So like I told you, inside our list basket or collection, this one is a what? Has a position of what? 0, 1, 2. So now let me print my list again. See, now we have Kamal at the beginning, Kim second, Amir third, and KB last. So let's say I want to change what is at the beginning, which is yes. So I can do something like this. Names, call my collection, then like told you, what is the position of this? 0. Then I say index 0. So let me print it just to confirm that we are accessing the right element. So index 0, you see we are seeing the only value, so that means we are accessing the right value. So for us to update it, we just have to put, okay, since we access the value, then we say now it's equal to what? It's equals to empty. So now it's going to completely change. You see, now it's become what? It become empty. So this is how we update values. Then we come to reading. So for us to read elements, it's very simple also. You can just access its index, and just say print. Then we call our basket, then we put square bracket in front of it. So let's say I want to read the second element, which is the one that is index 2. So if we run it, you're going to see this is the value that index 2. You see it? And here 0, 1, 2. You see, this is how you read specific element. And maybe let's say I want to read the last one, I can use -1, which is -1 means start from here, -1, -2, -3, -4. So -1, that's the last of the element. See, showing me what? KB. So this is how you read element. +1. So let's try and see.
Yes, one.
So if you run it, it's just going to show you team. You see? So this is plus start from here all the way to here, negative start from here all the way to here. Understood? Good. So now we see how can we watch. Also for reading elements, we can hmm? Plus one, yeah. No. We are accessing the index of this team. You see? We are accessing because the team has a position of 1. So when we write plus 1, it will look for this. So now let's say I want to access from team to Amir to KB, these 3 names. How can we do that? So we will use a method called slicing. So we will call our collection, which is names, then we put a square bracket, then we tell it from where do we want to start. What is the position of this team? 1, right? Then we put 1, then we put colon, and then what's the position of this? 3, right? So then we put 3. But like I told you, the rule is the last element we have to add 1 to its index if you want the complete element to be shown. If we leave it as 3, we're only going to see 2 elements. But if we put the 4, we're going to see the whole element. Do you understand? Yes, for the slicing. So if we put 4, now we can see the whole element. So let me print it. So if I run the element now, I'm going to see, you see, team Amir and KB. Did you see it? So what if I want to access only Amir and KB? Then we say start from index Amir, which is 2, and then all the way to the end. You see? Do you understand? So let's say we want to take the whole element, but we don't want team and maybe KB. We want to be jumping one element. We want to start from MK, then jump team, and then take Amir. So how can we do that? So this is the formula. When you call your collection and you put square bracket, the first value you put is the start, then colon, then the stop value, then you put colon, then the last one is the step. This step means you will be jumping. If you put 1, you will be jumping 1 1. If you put 2, you'll be jumping 2 2. Do you understand? So now I'm going to put, okay, we're going to start from the beginning. So since we wanted to start from the beginning, I can remove anything and leave it empty. So it means start from the beginning. And also, yes, I can put 0, but I can also leave it empty. And also we want it to stop at the end. I can also leave it empty. Start from the beginning and all the way to the end. And we can put another colon, then which is the last one. Like I said, start, we put what? Empty value. Stop, we put what? Empty value. Then step, now I'm going to put 1. And this one means if we take empty, then jump team and take Amir. Skip 1, exactly. So if we run it now, yes, that's the only thing you're going to see, empty Amir. Okay. So it's supposed to be using, I supposed to put 2, which is means after every one single element, we will skip 1. Then the second one, then we take it. Instead of saying 1. Do you understand? Now I put 2, which is the step. Then it will now take MK. As you can see, it's MK. Then skip team and take Amir. Then he's trying to, after he skip KB, then we have no element. That's why we only left with MK and Amir. Do you understand? So the step, by default, the step is 1. If we bring it back to 1, by default it's 1. 1 means 1 after the other. That's the one what means. But if we put 2, that means when we take one element, then skip the next one. Yes, if you put 3, then you are telling that if we take one element, if you take this element, then skip 2, and then take the next element. Do you understand? But if you put 2, you tell it take one element, leave 1, take this, leave 1. So if you put true now and 3, you're going to see what? You're going to see MK and KB. You're going to skip 2. You see? So this is how we do slicing. Any question? You come to the end of this session. So now we learn about list, our basket of collection, right? Going to take an amount of data. We learn also how you structure its data. I told you that the way you put it, this is how you're going to see it. This is how you structure its data. So the structure is left on you. Then we learn how to add, how to remove, and also how to read specific element and how to read some section of the elements slicing. So if there is no question, I think that's all. See you in our next class.